Good morning, students. Say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகும் தந்தையாகவும் மருந்துமுறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகும் தந்தையாகவும் மருந்துமுறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்லாசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகும் தந்தையாகவும் மருந்துமுறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students, take your social science book. Take page number 27. Today we will start with new lesson, World War II. So already in first lesson we have discussed the World War I, and in the second lesson we have discussed about what happened in the world after World War I. Okay, so the main important events are the Great Depression, then the rise of fascism and Nazism in Italy and Germany. Okay, so the main reason for World War II was the rise of fascism and Nazism in Italy and Germany. And also the Treaty of Versailles. So the treaty which was signed after World War I. So it had the seeds of the Second World War. So the Second World War started in the year 1939 and ended in the year 1945. Okay, so here in World War II there are two groups. So in First World War also, so there are two groups. So what are they? So two powers. So the world countries divided into two powers. So what are the two major powers? What are the two powers? Central powers and then allied powers. Here in World War II, it was allied powers and Axis powers. So how they fought with each other? So what are the causes for the war? So how they fought with each other? So how the war came to an end? Then what happened after the war? So you will learn about this in this lesson detailedly. So in last lesson you learned about the events that take place before World War II. Okay, so now we'll move into the lesson. First, learning objectives. So what are you going to learn from this lesson? So what will you understand after learning this lesson? So first, to acquaint ourselves about the political and economic developments after World War I, which ultimately led to World War II. So to acquire knowledge, so you will learn, so you will acquire knowledge about the political and economic development after World War I. So of political development means the rise of fascism. So the rise of fascism in Italy and Germany. So that's the political development. So economic development means economic crisis. So the Great Economic Depression affects the most of the countries, especially Europe was worst affected. But how some of the countries manage this economic crisis and developed, you will learn in this lesson. So you will learn. So first, political and economic development that led to World War II. Then second, to understand the course of the war in general. So generally you will learn the course of the war. So the important events. So where the battlefields held. So which are the winning countries. So how they capture a place. So how the victory countries finally achieve their success, you will learn. In particular, to learn the main events which were turning points in the war. So especially you will learn the main events, so which is considered as the turning point in the war. Then third one, to know the effects of World War II. So to know the devastating effect. So when you compare to World War I, so World War II have more effect. So the death toll is more when compared to World War I, because every country have good development. So especially in the field of weapons, in the field of armistice, in the field of arms, so every country produce more when compared to World War I. Then fourth one, to understand the Holocaust. So Holocaust means, it is a word used to describe the killing nearly 6 million Jews by the Germans during World War II. So already you know that Hitler was against the Jews. So that is, the Nazis were against the Jews. So when the Nazis captured any countries, means they first captured and killed the Jews. So the mass killing of Jews by Nazi is termed as Holocaust. You will understand about that. Okay, ma'am. Then finally, to acquire knowledge about the international organizations established after the war. So after the World War II, so some international organizations were established, especially United Nations organization. Yeah, so now it is also very active. Yeah, so they try to bring world peace. Yeah, so then apart from that, there are several other organizations like World Bank, IMF. Yeah, so what are they? You will learn at the end of this lesson. Yeah, so first you will learn what are you going to learn from this lesson. The political and economic development after World War I, which led to World War II. Then second, the course of the war in general, particularly the main events which were the turning points in the war. Then third one, the effects of the World War II. Then fourth one, the mass killing of Jews by the Nazis, which is termed as Holocaust. Then finally about the international organizations, so which were established after the war. So you are going to learn about this only. So introduction. So the first half of the 20th century. So the first half of 20th century means, so which period? Yeah, from 1900 to 1950. Yeah, so now we are living in which century? Yeah, 21st century. Yeah, so the first half of 20th century witnessed two wars which devastated the world. So devastated means, so completely destroyed. Yeah, so the first half. Yeah, so the world war, the two world war, so that happened in the, so the first half of the 20th century that destroyed the world. Okay, so World War I was fought from which year? Yeah, from 1914 to 1918. Yeah, and World War II began in 1939 and ended in 1945. Yeah, while the world at large had experienced many wars. Yeah, so already in first lesson we have discussed why it was called as World War. So initially the world has faced many wars. Yeah, so till now, so the world had faced many wars. You know the India-Pakistan war, India-China war, so Korean war. Okay, so the lot of wars were happened, but why it is called as World War? So these two wars, so the World War I and World War II, that is the war happened between 1914 to 1918 and 1939 to 1945 were referred as World Wars because of the extended areas of the conflict. Yeah, because these wars were fought in more areas. Yeah, and very high death toll of civilians. Yes, when compared to other wars. So here the death toll of the civilians, so the common people was high, as well as the armed combatants. So combatants means a person or group involved in fighting a war or battle. So armed combatant means, so nothing but the soldiers. Yeah, so the death conflict, so the death toll of both the civilians and the soldiers were high. So both wars were fought on several fronts across Europe, Asia and Africa. Yeah, so the wars were fought on several areas, so including Europe, Asia and Africa. In both the wars, the combined forces of Great Britain, France, Russia and the United States fought against a war alliance led by Germany. Yes, in both the wars. So the countries like Great Britain, France, Russia and United States so fought against the Germany. Yeah, so First World War was also fought against Germany and its allied countries. So Second World War was also fought against the Germany and its allied countries. So here, so in World War II, the Germany allied countries were Italy and Japan. Okay, so in World War II, the allied countries of Germany were Italy and Japan. Okay, so the first half of 20th century witnessed two wars. So World War I, World War II, so which caused a lot of damage. So which caused a lot of death toll. Okay, so both civilians and army soldiers. Okay, so it fought on several areas, so especially in Europe, Asia and Africa. So here in World War II also, so the countries like Great Britain, France, Russia and America, that is United States, fought against the Germany along with the allied countries. Okay, so here the German allied countries were Italy and Japan. So causes of World War II. So what are the main causes of the World War II? Yeah. So here the main causes of World War II were first the Treaty of Versailles. So there are a lot of causes. So we will discuss. Yeah, so we will discuss one by one. But the main causes were first the Treaty of Versailles. Yeah, so which was signed after World War I. Yeah, so the Treaty of Versailles only put an end to World War I. Yeah, so by this treaty By this treaty only, the World War I came to an end. But this treaty only contained the seeds. Yeah, so this treaty only contained the seeds for the World War One. Yeah, so because so some of the provisions was not acceptable. Yeah, so even for common people, it was not acceptable. Yeah, so especially to Germany. Yeah, so then rise of Hitler and Mussolini. So in previous lesson you learned so rise of the dictators Hitler and Mussolini. Then third one, so Japan want to extend its territory. Yeah, so Japan is territorial expansion. Yeah, so Japan want to hold its power. Yeah, so want to expand its military. Yeah, so she tried to capture, she tried to establish its power in the Asia Pacific region. Yeah, so that was the main reasons. Yeah, so we will discuss one by one and also the other events so that led to World War I. So the main events, so the main causes were the Treaty of Versailles, then rise of Hitler and Mussolini, then Japanese territorial expansion. Okay, so these were the main causes. Yeah, so and also the failure of League of Nations. Then apart from that, the winning countries, the allies countries, so the World War I allies countries non-intervention, then the Great Economic Depression, so that affects many country economy. So these are the other reasons. So these are the other causes of World War II. But the main causes were the Treaty of Versailles, the rise of Hitler and Mussolini, then third one, Japanese territorial expansion. Yeah, so we will discuss the causes one by one. So causes. So the devastation caused by World War I was of such magnitude that it was referred to as the Great War or the war to end all the wars. So the devastation. So the devastation means the destroy. So the damage. So caused by World War I was of such magnitude. So here magnitude means of great size. So here the World War I so caused that much great size of death. So that way it was called as Great War, and the war that brought an end to all wars. So initially, so before World War I, there are lot of conflicts between European countries. So that all the conflicts were came to an end by this World War I. So that way it was called as the war to end all wars. So the belligerent nations. So the belligerent nation means so the countries which involved in war. So which involved directly in the war. Especially the allies. So they had no desire. So desire means wish. So the belligerent nations, that is the countries which involved in the war directly, had no wish for a second prolonged conflict. So already they were worst affected. So these countries have no wish for a second prolonged war, and this was the main driving force behind their actions after the end of World War I. So they have no wish for the second war. And this was their main force, and this was their main important factor for their actions after the World War I. So after World War I, so the countries which fought directly in the World War I had no wish to fight again. So this was their main desire. This was their main driving force. The immediate and primary cause of World War II was the aggressive military offensive undertaken by resurgent Germany and a fast developing Japan. So the immediate and important cause for World War II was the aggressive military action. So aggressive means very energetic. So the energetic military offensive undertaken by resurgent Germany. So resurgent means so becoming stronger or more popular again. Okay, so becoming stronger or more popular. So aggressive means so behaving energetically or behaving in a forceful way. So Germany. So Germany's aggressive military policy, and also Germany was again growing. So Germany was becoming again strong. And also fast developing Japan. So the immediate cause of World War II was rise of Germany. So rise of Germany. So Germany became stronger again, and Japan was developing very fast. So this was the main fact. Even though allies countries were not interested, so have no desire for war. But that is also one major cause of war. But apart from that, the main important factor was the aggressive military policy of Germany. So aggressive military policy of Germany. So Germany became stronger again. So she want to recapture the place that she lost in World War I, and also she want to say the answers. So she want to do. So she want resentment. She want something again after the World War One. So after World War One, so whatever the place she lost, she want to recover those places. Okay, wow. So she want to say the answers for the provisions for the events that damaged her pride. Okay, ma'am. So Germany under Treaty of Versailles 1919. So the Treaty of Versailles was signed in 1919. So the Treaty of Versailles ending World War I was signed in June 1919. So among the many classes of the treaty, so among the many points of the treaty, three in particular caused great resentment among the Germans. So resentment means feeling of angry or unhappiness about something that you think is unfair. So something you feel unfair, something you make angry. So something in the Treaty of Versailles make the people of Germany angry. Okay. So what are the things that make the people of Germany angry? So especially the three things. So three classes in the Treaty of Versailles so caused a great resentment, so caused a great disappointment among the Germans. So first one was Germany was forced to give up the territories to the west, north and east of the German border. So you can see in this map. So Germany, so before World War One, so but after World War One, so the places lost by her to the other countries. So there are a lot of places. So she lost the places especially in the west, north and east of German border. Then second one, Germany had to disarm. So disarm means to reduce the number of weapons. So Germany was forced to reduce her weapons and was allowed to retain only a very restricted armed force. So can you remember that the provisions of the Treaty of Germany with Treaty of Versailles with related to Germany? Only 1 lakh soldiers was allowed. Then small navy so was allowed. So these are the things. So first Germany had to disarm, that is she had to reduce her weapons and was allowed to retain. So retain means to keep. So Germany was allowed to keep only a very restricted armed force. Then third one as reparations. So reparation means money that is paid by a country that has lost a war for the damage, injuries, etc. that it has caused. So money that had to be paid by a country that has defeated in a war. So for the damage or injuries that it has caused. So reparation means money had to be paid by a country which was defeated. So Germany was expected to pay for the military and civilian cost of the war to the Allied nations. So the Germany and the Treaty of Versailles. So there are three important clauses. So that caused great disappointment among the Germans. So first one, Germany was forced to give up her territories. Then second one, Germany was forced to reduce her weapons and also allowed only to maintain a very restricted armed forces. Then third one, as the reparations for the war, Germany was expected to pay for the military and civilian cost of the war to the Allied nations. So these are the important, so three particular things so that cause great disappointment among the German people. Then the failure of League of Nations. So League of Nations was established after World War I in order to bring world peace, but it became failure. So you learn that also in your first lesson. So it can't bring world peace. So because what was the reason? So so some countries military expansion and especially the non-intervention of United States of America. So the treaty of Versailles also set up the League of Nations on the initiative. So initiative means so his support. So start something. So support of President Woodrow Wilson of the United States. The League was expected to mediate between the countries and take action against the countries which indulged in military aggression. So many countries expected that a league will mediate between the countries. So will mediate between the countries which involved in war and may take action against the countries which involved in military aggression. So if any country involved in military aggression, so if any country tried to capture another country through its military power means, so the weak country expected that League will take action against them. Yeah. Then the popular mood favored the traditional isolationist approach. Yeah. So and therefore the United States did not become a member of the league. Yeah. Initially, United States so followed a policy of isolationist. Yeah. So isolation. Yeah. So that is they didn't involved in world affairs. Yeah. So now the United States of America involved in world affairs, but initially so they followed the policy of non-intervention. Yeah, so they not only United States, other countries also. So the other allied countries, because they were worst affected by World War One, and also the Great Economic Depression affected their economy very worst. Yeah, so they followed the policy of non-intervention. So non-intervention means principle or practice of not becoming involved in the affairs of the other countries. Yeah, so they didn't try to, they don't want to involved in other countries' affairs. Yeah, so that was also a main reason. Yeah, and in the consequence the league remained ineffectual international body. So because of the non-intervention of the powerful countries of the time, especially America, Russia, then these countries, so Britain, France, yeah, so the League of Nations so became an ineffectual, so not effective organization. Okay, so the Treaty of Versailles set up the League of Nations. So on the initiative of the President Woodrow Wilson of America, the league was expected to mediate between the countries and take action against other countries which involved in military aggression. But the popular mood, yeah, so the popular mood means so the behavior of the people, yeah, so the behavior of the common people of America of that time was non-intervention. So most of the Americans so don't like, so they didn't want their country to involve in world affairs. Okay, so that was their tradition. So tradition means so which was practicing for a longer period of time. Yeah. So and therefore the United States did not become a member of the league. Yeah. So since they want to be a isolated country, they didn't want to be a member of league. Okay, so League of Nations. So the other allied nations so were also determined to maintain a non-interventionist attitude. Yeah, so other countries also wanted to behave, so wanted to feel, yeah, so feel a policy of non-intervention, and also in consequence the league remained an ineffectual international body. So because of the non-intervention of the powerful countries of that time, so the league remained an ineffective body. Okay, so the rise of extreme right-wing dictatorship. Yeah, so first, as mentioned above, that is about the three main clauses of the Treaty of Versailles, especially the imposition of penal reparations caused great discontent in Germany. Yeah, so the amount so that was asked to pay, yeah, so by Germany caused great discontent. So discontent means a feeling of being unhappy because you are not satisfied with the situation. Yeah, so the people of Germany were not satisfied with the situation because they were forced, so Germany was forced to pay a reparation amount that was beyond its capacity. Yeah. Then the problems which many countries faced in the post World War One decades led to the rise of extreme right wing dictatorship. Yeah, so the problems so faced by these countries, especially Italy, Germany and Spain, yeah, so led to the rise of dictators. Yeah, so like Mussolini in Italy, Adolf Hitler in Germany, and Francisco Franco in Spain. Yeah, so especially Mussolini and Hitler, so they were responsible for World War II. Yeah, so but apart from that, there is another dictator in Spain called as Francisco Franco. Yeah, so the rise of dictatorships. So first Francisco Franco of Spain, Adolf Hitler of Germany, then Benito Mussolini of Italy. So you have learned about Hitler and Mussolini in previous lesson. Okay, so Franco, so he was not given that much important. Yeah, so because Portugal, Spain, they were not the important countries of the world war. Yeah, so they explained only about Hitler and Mussolini, but Franco was also a dictator of Spain. Yeah, so the events so that happened after World War One, so led to the rise of dictatorships in Italy, Germany, and Spain. So post-war crisis and Germany. So Germany experienced both high unemployment. Yeah, so the unemployment the number of unemployment was becoming high, was increasing, and severe inflation, that is the value of money, so was decreasing, but the price level was increasing, so after the war, and its currency becoming practically worthless. So the value of the currency of Germany became worthless. So there are several pictures of the 1920s when ordinary people had to carry money in wheelbarrows to buy bread. So you can see in this picture. So sand picture, a man carrying money, so German currency in wheelbarrow. Yeah. So what is a wheelbarrow? Yeah, a type of small open container with wheel and handles that you see outside for carrying the things. Yeah, so a type of small open container, so with wheels. Yeah, so with one or two wheel and handles and a handle. So see that old man. So he is handling it. Yeah. So in order to carry things. So he carry German currency to buy a packet of bread. So he have to give this much money. So remember, so the value of the currency, so it reduced very low. So the inflation goes very high. Okay, so to buy bread. And also you can see the left side picture. So children's. So do you know with how what was used by them to play? Did you think it is a brick or some stone? No, it is money. So it was German currency. So think the value of the currency. So it was reduced very poor. So it was reduced very low. Okay, so this was the situation of Germany in 1920s. Okay, so Germany experienced both high unemployment and severe inflation. So this was blamed on their war reparations which Germany was forced to pay, though in the final analysis the demands for war reparations were moderated over several rounds of negotiations. So why it occurred means, so the people blamed, so because of Germany forced to pay, so because of the war reparations which was forced to pay by the by Germany. So but in final analysis, so but through several talks, so negotiation means, so several meetings, so the reparation amount was reduced. So though the reparation amount was reduced, so Germany economy was worst affected. And also in the year 1930s, so the great economic depression affected the country very worst. So that was the reason which led to the rise of Nazism in Germany. So that result in the rise of Hitler. Okay, so Germany experienced both high unemployment and severe inflation after the war, and its currency became practically worthless. So the currency of Germany have no value. There are several pictures of the 1920s. So that is after 1920s, there are several pictures when ordinary people, when common people had to carry money in wheelbarrows to buy bread. So in order to buy bread, they had to carry money in their wheelbarrows. So you can see in this picture. Then this was blamed on the war reparations. So why this occur means, so people blamed that it was due to the war reparation which was forced to pay. So which Germany was forced to pay. But in the final analysis, the demands for war reparations were moderated, so were somewhat reduced over several rounds of negotiations. So after several talks, several meetings, the reparation amount was somewhat reduced, not completely reduced, only somewhat. So it was moderated. Okay, okay students, in today's class we have discussed about the introduction of World War II and some of the causes. So we will continue with the other causes tomorrow. So in today's class we have discussed about the World War II causes. So in which year the World War II began? 1939. So when it came to an end? 1945. So which country was the main reason behind World War II? So which country was blamed? Germany. Okay, so name the countries so that fought against Germany, so that formed an alliance and fought against Germany in World War II. Great Britain, France, Russia and United States. Okay, so we have discussed about the Germany and the Treaty of Versailles. So how many classes that caused great resentment among the Germans? 3. So do you know what are the three important causes that cause resentment among the Germans? Yeah, first Germany was forced to give up her territories, and second one, Germany was forced to reduce her weapons and also allowed to maintain only a very restricted force. Then third one, especially important one, is the reparation of war so paid by Germany was high. Then another causes was the failure of League of Nations. So because the policy of non-intervention, so the isolationist approach of United States of America and the other winning countries. Then another important factor was the rise of extreme right-wing dictatorship. So who were the dictators? Yeah, Mussolini, Hitler, and Frank. Yeah, so Franco. So these are the reasons, and apart from that, we have discussed the situation, the economic condition of Germany. Yeah, so it experienced high unemployment and severe inflation. Yeah, so you saw the pictures. So an old man carrying German currency in wheelbarrow and children playing with the German currency. Yeah, so that are the things. So that are the events that led to rise of Hitler. Yeah. Then tomorrow's class we will discuss about the rise of Hitler, then Hitler military policy of aggression, and Japan military aggression in tomorrow's class. And also we will learn about allies and non-intervention. So the non-intervention policy followed by allied countries. Then finally about the Munich Pact. Okay, va? Okay, students, if you have any doubt in this lesson, in this topic we have discussed, contact me. Yeah. So today's textbook reading. So take page number 27. Yeah. So read the heading Germany and the Treaty of Versailles 1919. Yeah. So just to read that heading loudly. Then homework question. So take page number book back question. So page number 38. So fifth Roman letter. So who were the three prominent dictators of the post-World War I? Yeah. So in the question itself, mark the answer. So start the answer. So strike out that who were. Yeah, start as the three prominent dictators of the post-World War I were. Then come to page number 28. Yeah, see the second heading, post-war crisis and Germany. Yeah. In that first paragraph, last two lines. So last two lines. So start from that Italy, Mussolini, Germany, Hitler, and Spain, Franco. That is, you have to write the answer as the three prominent dictators of the post-World War I were Italy, Mussolini, Germany, Hitler, and Spain, Franco. Okay, va? Okay, students. Write the question and read it carefully. Okay, va? So it is also a very important question and also a very easy question. Yeah. So if you have any doubt in this lesson and in this question, just contact me. Okay, va? So thank you. Have a nice day.